Welcome to the 20th Bruce F. Vento Public Service Award event. We are so excited to be able to honor Senator Mazie K. Hirono from Hawaii, the gorgeous state of Hawaii. I'm Grace Lee, Executive Director of National Park Trust, and today I'm also joined by our woolly mascot, Buddy Bison. Buddy encourages kids to explore outdoors. The parks are yours. Now, a virtual program is not how we had hoped to celebrate this milestone event. But the silver lining is that what is typically a reception based in Washington, D.C. is now open to all of our friends and supporters across the country, and we are delighted to have so many of you with us today. During this very difficult time for our country, I've heard from many of you that getting outdoors to parks has been very therapeutic and healing, and lifts your spirits. I couldn't agree more. My parents came to the U.S. from Shanghai, China, and I was born in Newark, New Jersey many moons ago. Our family always loved going to national parks. We didn't have a lot of resources for vacations, so we drove all around the country with our camping equipment in the back of our dark green Chrysler station wagon with no air conditioning. As young parents, my husband Ken and I enjoyed introducing our kids to parks where we created treasured memories. That's why I am so passionate about the work of the National Park Trust. It's my way of giving back to our wonderful national parks and our communities. As you enjoy our program in the comfort of your home or office, I hope you will think about your favorite park memory. Did it make you laugh or feel in awe or appreciate the sacrifices made by others? Finally, there are so many people I need to thank, including our board and staff and you, our generous supporters and partners who make what we do possible each year. As they say in Hawaii, mahalo. And now, Buddy, I think it's time for you to go visit Ace.
Aloha, my name is Ace Loftus. I am a 4th grader at Honolulu Elementary School. Last year, I went on a school field trip to Hawaii Volcanoes National Parks. It was a very cool and fun experience, and I would love to tell you about it. My classmates and I learned a lot about how powerful volcanoes can be. We learned that when Kilauea erupted 2 years ago, it did bad damage to the area that was catastrophic. Although a lot of the areas were closed due to the damage of lava flows, we did get to see big cracks in the ground called fissures. We discovered that when Kilauea was erupting, the lava chamber inside of the volcano was crazy. We got to see the lava inside of the lava chamber. It was fascinating to see how the lava bubbled. Also, we took a hike and got to see the lava crater that Kilauea had made. Another thing we learned about was Hawaiian traditions and culture. For instance, Hawaiians used to do the hula and the haka and still do today to respect the land and to respect their ancestors. Hawaiians believe that Pele, the goddess of fire, created the Hawaiian Islands by using her digging stick to create fissures and craters. Millions of years of volcanic activity in the middle of the Pacific Ocean shapes and continues to reshape the islands today. I think it is very important for every class to take a trip like this because it allows students the experience of learning something new together outside of the classroom. This is crucial because it's fun for us students to change up the everyday routine, and it helps strengthen the friendships we have together. I really hope we have the opportunity to take more future field trips like these. A very sincere mahalo nui loa, Senator Hirono, for allowing me to share this fun experience with you. I hope you continue to support more future field trips like these.
Hi, I'm JC Ramirez. I'm a 6th grade student from Washington, D.C. When my teacher, Ms. Salgado, announced we would go climbing, I did not picture the rock climbing walls at Cataract Rock Recreation Area, which is part of the C&O Canal National Historical Park in Maryland. I mean, they are steep, like scary steep. We had to wear helmets, climbing gear, and even weird-looking shoes. When it was my turn to climb, I felt all kinds of emotions and had all thoughts running through my head. I won't be able to do this, but I kept going. I also thought about my classmates. Would they look up to me? Would they be let down if I didn't climb? But I didn't let that get to me. I climbed. I wasn't gonna let a little rock stand in my way. I knew I was going to complete the climb when I heard the screams of joy and support coming from my classmates. Looking at their faces, their smiles, the enthusiasm, kids and adults all coming together to celebrate what I did was incredible. This experience taught me how important parks are to me. Parks are a place where people of all ages can go and have fun. Being outdoors helps me see I can accomplish anything if I put my mind to it. Breathing fresh air, living in the moment, witnessing nature at its finest, it all just came together. Gaining inspiration from those moments, being able to go outside and come back feeling rejuvenated. Sometimes I get bummed out or my friends get overwhelmed, but then I remember that moment when I descended from the wall, being one of only 5 or so kids who didn't give up. I remember thinking, I am worth it. I can do it. And if I can, so can you. I invite you to experience what I have experienced at parks, and trust me, you won't be disappointed. You'll be able to show others your talents and strong character. I am much more confident and strong because of my experiences with nature. Feeling the strength I felt climbing that steep wall or going hiking for long periods of time have allowed me to take many risks, like giving speeches in front of large crowds and even becoming a published author at a young age. And I'm not done yet. There are many other experiences I would like to take advantage of. While we couldn't go out because parks are closed and we needed to stay home and be safe, that didn't mean that we can't continue to fight for parks to be available for all of us. It's important for all of us to make parks available for all kids and all adults, so we can all have experiences like mine.
Welcome, buddy, and welcome everyone to our virtual event. I'm Bill Brownell, Board Chair of the National Park Trust. ACE and JC have highlighted why parks are so important to us all, especially in these times of physical distancing and stay at home when we miss our outdoor spaces. Like many of us, our parks have touched me in big and small ways. Some of us have found memorable experiences in remote areas, like the Boundary Waters, or on the steep trails of Yosemite, or in the quiet backcountry of the Shenandoah. But we all can enjoy our parks close to home, and these have provided me with some of my most cherished experiences. When at work, I commute most days by bike through the C&O Canal National Historic Park along the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. These park experiences, great and small, are why I dedicate my time and resources to the Park Trust and our mission of protecting our nation's parks. How do we do this? We work with the National Park Service to acquire critically important land parcels that are either inside of or adjacent to national parks. These lands help to preserve the integrity of nationally significant historic and cultural sites, important viewsheds, critical habitat, and geologic wonders. This land also helps to complete and protect our national parks. At the same time, we are working to build the pipeline of future park stewards through our youth and family programs. The Park Trust's efforts have benefited 48 units of the National Park System. We view each of these projects as an opportunity to educate young people and to connect them to our parks. Now, when I think about our park projects, one of my favorite has always been the Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve in Kansas. This preserve is one of the largest remaining sections of tallgrass prairie in the world. More recently, the Park Trust helped the National Park Service complete the Valles Caldera National Preserve in New Mexico. This involved acquiring a 40-acre parcel that is a unique collection of geothermal features found in only 5 other places in North America. In the middle of the country, the Park Trust recently finished a complicated land project to protect the St. Croix National Scenic Riverway in Wisconsin. It has over 230 miles of clean, free-flowing water that serves as important habitat for over 100 species of fish and more than 55 mammals, including wolves. Years ago in Utah, the Park Trust worked to acquire 640 acres of private land in the viewshed of the Hovenweep National Monument. This acquisition preserves the natural sounds, dark skies, and open landscape of the ancient Pueblans who lived and farmed there over 700 years ago. Now, Buddy, I'm going to send you down to Atlanta to meet with one of our wonderful youth program fellows, Chelsea Vines. Buddy, here you go.
Hey, buddy. Hi, my name is Chelsea Vines, and I'm a 4th grade teacher at M. Agnes Jones Elementary School. We are located in a low socioeconomic area in Atlanta, Georgia. 100% of our students receive a free lunch each school day. Our school has been one of National Park Trust's Buddy Bison schools for 6 years. Throughout this partnership with the Park Trust, our students get outside several times a year to learn about the benefits of parks and protecting our natural resources. The kids absolutely love going to visit our national parks and other outdoor field trips. During my teaching career, I've actually noticed that those students who may not be on level with their peers academically, they actually tend to benefit from learning outdoors. It's just something about nature that helps them to focus. Last year, I taught a student who had both a cognitive and a severe speech delay. He really couldn't talk. When we went to Serenbe Farms, this student just lit up, literally. The farmers were teaching the kids about where their food comes from and actually how to harvest radishes. So imagine my surprise when I heard, "Look, Ms. Vines, I got one," as he proudly held up a radish. I was like, "Who said that?" As you can imagine, I almost fainted because I thought he couldn't talk. He had not said one word the entire school year. It was truly amazing. That's what learning in outdoor spaces can do for students. As a CPA and former employee in the corporate industry, I decided to make a career change about 14 years ago. I wanted to make a difference in a child's life, so I decided to become a teacher. Through our school's partnership with the Park Trust, I have learned so much about parks myself. Most people think that national parks are parks of beauty, but they are really much more than that. With the tense racial climate that's going on in our world today, parks have a lot of rich history that can serve as a teaching tool to support understanding of many cultures and many ethnicities. There are parks that teach about civil rights, Native Americans, World War II, and the Tuskegee Airmen, and the list goes on and on. The knowledge gained from visiting national parks is just one way that could help bridge the gap on understanding race and culture. And now, as a Youth Programs Fellow and an Education Advisor to the Park Trust Board, I also know that these park trips are provided annually by the Park Trust for nearly 300 underserved schools across the country. With the current situation with COVID-19, the Park Trust has already been working with teachers on how best they can support us if we're not able to get our students back in the classroom or outdoors in the fall. We are working with their youth program staff to provide robust, hands-on park experiences that our kids can do at home or in the classroom, so that we can still connect our students with the benefits of nature as well as the environment. During these uncertain times, we hope that our students can continue to learn about the benefits of our parks and the importance of preserving them as well as our natural resources. Congratulations and thank you, Senator Hirono, for what you do. Protecting our parks and natural resources will benefit future generations. In communities where there is a lack of access to parks, the exposure that they have will give many students something positive to care about.
Aloha, my name is Topher Pike, and I teach 3rd through 5th grade science and writing at Hirono Elementary School on Hawaii Island. In 2014, I joined Teach for America and moved from upstate New York to Kailua Kona. While that was the start of many big changes in my life, one thing that stayed the same was my love of the outdoors. I love to hike, camp, fish, and simply enjoy the beauty of the natural world around us. As a teacher, I wanted to find unique ways to share the joys of the outdoors with my students. On the Big Island, we have 3 national parks, including the world-famous Volcano National Park. It's an incredible place where everyone can see new land being formed and learn about the cultural connections and significance of volcanoes like Kilauea. I was surprised to find that nearly 80% of my first class of students had never been to the park before. Despite it being only an hour and a half away, many did not have the resources or family time to make such a trip. As for school trips, transportation is a major expense and the main barrier to travel for most classrooms. Still, I wanted to give my students this incredible experience, and that's how I found the National Park Trust. Their National Kids to Parks Day school contest helped cover the costs of transportation and camping. Our school was one of 90 classrooms that won grants through the contest, and I understand in a typical year, 1 million individuals across the country participate in Kids to Parks Day, the national celebration of our country's parks. Of course, this is not a typical year, and because of COVID-19, our school trip has been postponed. However, we were able to go to the parks the previous 2 years. Ace, who you already heard from, and Halia, who you'll hear from next, are 2 of my students who were able to make the trip last year. As a part of their contest entry, my students had total ownership of the trip. That means they designed budgets, planned itineraries, set the learning goals, and even made fitness plans. My students were able to craft a trip based on what they wanted to learn and do in the parks. They were able to talk story with park rangers and cultural practitioners about the history of the park and the connections to Hawaii. We practiced good stewardship by cutting away invasive ginger and cleaning up park grounds. And we lived a healthy lifestyle by hiking in the fresh air and warm sun that are the trademarks of our national parks. Without the National Park Trust, none of this would have been possible. Halia, can you share some more about the awesome things we were able to do on this trip?
My name is Halia Kiana'aina, and I also go to school at Hononau Elementary with Ace. There are lots of things to do at Volcano National Park. One of my favorite parts of the trip was taking hikes. It was so peaceful, and when we were doing our school chant, a peaceful breeze came passing by. The breeze felt so nice and relaxing that I almost forgot that I was with my classmates. Hiking is a really good way to get exercise. It is also good taking a walk or hike when you are stressed. It was fun going to the art museum where there are lots of beautiful pieces of local artwork showing the history of the volcano. This trip was valuable because we got to see the new lava rock from the recent eruption, learn lots of new things, and get closer to my friends. I was very lucky to go and see Volcano National Park. Other kids should go on trips like these too because they can learn a lot and become closer to their teachers and classmates. Plus, you can get to know your homeland better. Congratulations, Senator Hirono, on being recognized by the National Park Trust. Thank you for all you do for our parks, which we love and enjoy.
Thanks, Halia, and welcome back, buddy. The National Park Trust established the Bruce F. Vento Public Service Award in April 2001 to recognize special individuals for their lifetime of outstanding service in the conservation of America's parks, public lands, and public water resources. This award honors the legacy of Bruce Vento, who for more than a decade served as chair of the Natural Resources Subcommittee of the House Committee on National Parks, Forests, and Public Lands. As past Vento Award recipient Congressman John Lewis remarked in 2004, Congressman Vento was an environmental stalwart, a member who stood second to none in protecting our parks and preserving our national heritage. He was the environmental conscience of the House and continues to inspire members of Congress and people throughout the country who are fighting to make our nation a little greener for our children and for generations to come. At a 2000 dinner tribute to Bruce, President Clinton reminded us that Bruce steered into law more than 300 bills to protect our natural resources. Fellow Minnesotan and Vice President Walter Mondale called Bruce one of the most effective congressmen in modern Minnesota history. It's hard to think of an environmental issue, he said, where his leadership has not been found. Bruce was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, and worked there as a science and social studies teacher before his election to the State House in 1970. He was elected to his first term in the U.S. Congress in 1976. The Park Trust is proud to honor his legacy with today's award. And now, buddy, I'm going to send you on a trip out to Minnesota to meet with our good friend Sue Vento. Here you go, buddy.
Thank you, Bill, and welcome to Minnesota, buddy. As we face the tragic realities of the pandemic and the death of George Floyd, now more than ever, our national parks provide sanctuary where we can grieve, heal, find calm, and pray for a stronger, more loving, and inclusive world. To the National Park Trust Board and staff, and to each of the many National Park Trust donors and volunteers, thank you. Thank you for your extraordinary work, achievements, and generosity in protecting and growing our national park system and engaging young people in experiencing all that our treasured parks provide. Special thanks for your work on the wild and scenic St. Croix River, which borders Minnesota and Wisconsin, and provides so many treasured memories of wonderful afternoons and evenings with Bruce. To the students, oh, how I wish I could meet each of you in person. Every year, you, the students, steal this show with your polished, poised, and inspiring presentations about your own park experiences. For each of the last 20 years, the National Park Trust has honored an elected official who has been an outstanding leader in expanding, protecting, and funding our parks, historic sites, and public lands. Past honorees include Bruce's dear friend, Congressman John Lewis, the late U.S. Senator John McCain, U.S. Representative Mike Simpson, and Bruce's successor and dear friend, Congresswoman Betty McCollum. This year's honoree is truly deserving of the award, and Bruce would be delighted. Frankly, he'd want to present the award not in Washington, not here in Minnesota, but instead in gorgeous Hawaii. Senator Mazie Hirono is a trailblazer, the first female U.S. Senator from Hawaii, the first Asian American woman elected to the U.S. Senate, and the first U.S. Senator born in Japan. As a child, her family moved from Japan to Hawaii, and in 1959, the year Hawaii became our 50th state, 12-year-old Mazie became a naturalized U.S. citizen. She earned a degree in psychology from the University of Hawaii, and after graduating from Georgetown Law School, she returned to Hawaii to practice law. Her public service includes serving in Hawaii's State House of Representatives, serving as Hawaii's Lieutenant Governor, and representing Hawaiians in the U.S. House of Representatives. In 2012, she was elected to the U.S. Senate, where Senator Hirono serves on the Energy and Natural Resources, Armed Services, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Judiciary, and Veterans Affairs committees.
Congratulations to you and your colleagues in the Senate for the passage last week of the Great American Outdoors Act. $12 billion, very needed dollars for work in the national park system, and we are just so grateful. Among the many co-sponsors of this bill are a number of Vento Award recipients, so you join a prestigious group in not only getting this legislation passed, but in being this year's honoree.
What is especially inspiring about Senator Hirono is that in 2017, she was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. Despite that diagnosis and needed medical care, she quickly returned to work and was reelected to the Senate in 2018. She continues each and every day to be a fierce advocate and tireless voice for the people of Hawaii and all Americans, for justice and equity, for our democracy, for all of our children and future generations, and for our treasured national parks and environment.
Aloha, my name is Cindy Orlando, and I serve as the Superintendent of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. It is my great honor to recognize Senator Mazie Hirono and congratulate her on being the 2020 award winner of the Bruce F. Vento Public Service Award. Senator Hirono, this recognizes your outstanding contributions to our nation, the Pacific region, and the state of Hawaii. But most importantly, we honor you for your steadfast support of the National Park Service. From the summit of Haleakala to the Alakahakai Trail and the dramatic landscape that is the home of Pele within Hawaii volcanoes, your achievements have left a legacy for future generations. You have helped us tell the difficult stories of Japanese immigration and internment at Honouliuli National Historic Site. You've helped us tell the story of the solemn remembrance of the attack on Pearl Harbor and the crew of the USS Arizona. And you've helped us tell the story of pandemic and quarantine at Kalaupapa. You have shared your own personal connections to these difficult stories. You have embraced the preservation of significant Hawaiian cultural sites at Pu'ukohola Heiau National Historic Site, Kaloko Honokahau, and Pu'uhonua Oho Naunau National Historic Parks. Your stewardship ethic has ensured the passing of significant natural resource and land protection legislation, including the Hawaii Forests at Risk, Land and Water Conservation Authorization and Funding, and important protections for our state's watersheds and endangered species. What an honor for all of us to serve on the ground, supporting your efforts to prevent our most sensitive species from going extinct and ensuring recovery for future generations. You have inspired us with your passion for youth, getting every fourth grade student into the parks, and through the designation of National Kids to Parks Day. Wow, these important outreach programs provided free access to students to over 2,000 public lands and waters nationwide, including in Hawaii and the Western Pacific. And with you, we celebrated many, many national park weeks, the centennial of the National Park Service and the centennial of Haleakala and Hawaii Volcanoes, two of the oldest national parks in the system. You have planted silver swords at Haleakala and hiked with fourth grade students. You have delicately maneuvered lava landscapes while we bulldozed roads for evacuation routes. And you have stood in awe more than once of an erupting volcano. Your support of our national parks has been unwavering. On a personal note, I want to thank you for your support over the years and understanding the complexities that all of us as park managers face, serving millions of visitors annually while stewarding some of the world's most precious natural and cultural resources. On behalf of the national parks in Hawaii, we mahalo you for your commitment to preserve and protect for the enjoyment of future generations, your National Park Service. Mahalo nui loa.
Senator Hirono, we are so pleased and honored to be able to present you with the 2020 Bruce F. Vento Public Service Award.
We look forward to giving this to you in person in the near future when we can all be together again.
Congratulations, Senator.
Congratulations, Senator Hirono.
Aloha. Thank you, Bill and Sue, for that lovely introduction. Of course, I want to thank the National Park Trust for honoring me with the Bruce Vento Public Service Award. We are all friends of the national parks, and I'm really glad that we are focusing so much on educating our young people, the new supporters, the younger generation of national park supporters in the importance of our national parks. So we need kids all across the country like Ace and Halia in Hawaii and JC and Gibran in DC to have opportunities to visit parks so they can keep these important places healthy and vibrant for generations to come. Just last week, the Senate passed the Great American Outdoors Act, which does a number of things, but very importantly, we make permanent the funding for the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and also creates a fund to address the massive deferred maintenance backlog in all of our national parks. And just in Hawaii, there's something like $165 million worth of deferred maintenance. So that's really important. I want to commend the young people who are going to become the stewards of our national park. And they're going to, I know, be leaders in making sure that we continue to support a huge resource, and that is our national parks. And I myself like going to our national parks because, as you can see, I have a lifetime pass to our national parks. What a deal. As we go forward, while it is really important for Congress to continue to provide resources for our national parks, I want to thank a big mahalo to the National Park Trust, because you folks really give that added push, and particularly your emphasis on educating our young people in the need to protect and preserve our national parks. Mahalo and aloha to all of you.
Senator Hirono, it is an honor to present you with your very own Buddy Bison, your new traveling companion, and a Buddy Bison t-shirt. We hope Buddy can join you on your new park adventures.
Congratulations, Senator Hirono. I hope you enjoyed our program today. Because of our park champions, including Senator Hirono and all of you, we've accomplished so much together to benefit our national parks and to ensure that our youth not only have access to these places, but will be ready to carry on the legacy of our parks for future generations. Thank you all for joining us, and let's keep it going. With your generous support, there's much more we can do working together. Now, to close our program today, I'd like to invite another one of our amazing Buddy Bison students, Gibran, to say a few parting words. Over to you.
Hi, I'm Gibran Glover, and I'm a 6th grader from Washington, D.C. Parks provide great experiences that motivate kids. Rock climbing and hiking with my teammates taught me I can do so much, even when things are difficult. These experiences challenge us and push us beyond our limits, letting us know that we can do anything. I take this experience with me everywhere I go. We all need to do our part to take care of parks. Maybe you want to help by cleaning them up when you go on a hike. Maybe you want to speak up and ensure parks are protected and open to all. When we all help our parks, we are also allowing kids like me to continue creating incredible experiences when we are outdoors. And I'm confident that my generation will carry these memories and lessons into adulthood, letting these good memories fuel our confidence and strength to remind us we can tackle any challenges, including climate change and, yes, a world pandemic. Whenever I'm in a tricky or difficult situation, I go back to when I felt that I can do this feeling. Just remembering that accomplishment has helped me push through many challenges. Imagine what I could accomplish with more great experiences. This is why we need your help. Are you ready to help?